Dear Diary, one day I was in my kitchen getting ready to make my gremlins some loaded potato soup. But then when I walked over to my potato bin, I realized that a bunch of them had started turning green and sprouting. And I feel like this happens a lot, especially whenever my house would get extra hot. A lot of the times they would even get kind of wrinkly. And normally I would have just thrown them away. But then I thought, you know what? Let me go ahead and pop them into Serendipity to see if I can grow anything out of them, because at least that way I might get something versus just tossing them in the trash and getting nothing and then letting all of them go to waste. So I found what I felt like would be a good spot for those sprouted green potatoes. I dug a deep enough hole, dropped them in there, and then I covered them back up. And I just waited. I hoped that it would work. I wasn't entirely sure because a lot of the times planting potatoes from the store is not recommended because number one, you can't guarantee that they won't have any sort of disease on them. And a lot of the times gardeners say that, or other people say that they might be sprayed with growth inhibitors so that they won't actually produce anything or grow. But because these had already started sprouting, I figured, what is the worst that can happen? And after they were planted, I just waited and waited and waited, and time went by. And it actually wasn't very long before I was outside one day and I noticed that they had already started sprouting, which was so exciting because I felt like, oh wow, okay, this is a great sign. Maybe we will actually get something. And then I saw that it helps to hill potatoes up whenever you plant them. So what that means is basically just covering them up with soil, letting a little bit of the foliage pop out at the very top, but this way they can continue to produce those tubers that will become the potatoes. So I continued to do that and it worked for a while, but then all of a sudden I noticed that the potatoes started looking a little bit more yellow as the months went by. They looked a little bit sad, and then one day when I went outside, they looked completely dead and dried. And I was bummed out at first, but then I remembered that that's actually a good sign because once you yank the plants up, the potatoes should be ready. And at first, the first couple of potatoes that I pulled out were a little bit on the smaller side, but I kept on digging and digging, and the deeper I went, the bigger the potatoes got. And by the end of it, I had a fantastic harvest. I could not believe how many potatoes I got from green sprouted potatoes that would have been thrown away otherwise. And at the end of the day, the best part about this was I was finally able to make some homegrown loaded potato soup using potatoes that would have gone in the trash.